All right. Hello. Welcome to episode 321 of Together BHA. Already a fair few comments in the chat. Who knew, Adam, that a few good wins on the bounce gets people a little bit more excited to talk about Brighton and Hove Albion?
Yeah, well, look at them all coming back. Fair weathers. Look at this. Yeah, some names I've not seen in here for a little while. Some of the regulars are in there, but yeah, we've got. Don't worry, everyone's welcome back with open arms.
Got Chris Perry as well, a long-time Spotify listener. Love that. Bringing them over to the YouTubes.
Nice.
I guess let's start at the pretty obvious kind of headline segment, I suppose. Danny Welbeck was left out of Thomas Tuchel's latest and greatest England squad, and I think it was even like the World Cup 35 or something like that. And Hertzler, when asked about it on Friday, said essentially that he encourages Welbeck to, I've got the quote here, control the controllables. And he did that by scoring a brace yesterday and makes him the highest scoring Englishman in the league and his best season ever, beating his previous best season last year. 35 years old, leapfrogging a 6'4" Lewis Dunk like it was nothing yesterday. What an absolute man this guy is. Just a bit of Welbeck appreciation early and often, honestly, for this week, I think.
Yeah, I think it's well known at this point that I'm a big Danny Welbeck stan. And I absolutely, just like a lot of other people, earlier on in his career, didn't really do anything for me. And he was just, it kind of became just a bit of a, he appeared in teams and he'd get injured all the time and he never really scored that many. And you kind of just got to a point where you're like, oh, who even is this guy? And I think there were these really high expectations for him when he was younger, obviously, with the teams that he played for, sort of in a different way, sort of semi-Rashford-esque type of trajectory, where it was all these big high hopes that were occurring and then it just never massively occurred for him. And now he's just simply is undeniably playing the best football of his career. I think if you said, even just a handful of days ago, there is a Brighton player that is going to get called up for the England squad, and you get to put your money on whether it's Jason Steele or Danny Welbeck. And if you put your money on Jason Steele, I genuinely think people in white coats would have come to pick you up. But here we are.
Jason Steele putting money on Jason Steele to be the man?
Not even Thomas Tuchel is. That's the funny part.
I mean, first of all, congrats to Jason Steele. The role he's been called up for looks almost like a part coaching role, which is honestly, I think, a phenomenal slot for Jason Steele to be selected for, given all that he has done for us alone. Let alone all of the shit he's had to go through, obviously going back to his Sunderland days that were well documented, right? Where he basically hated football.
Well, I mean, I think
the ball again.
This feels like a role that's similar to what Scott Carson did for many years at Man City.
Yes.
Where it's like he's there and he's there for sort of vibes and training, but he ain't ever going to play. But even so, for him, like, I don't know what more you can ask for. It must be amazing for him. What a dream.
And you never know. He may get a Bayern Munich go down, right? All goalkeepers get hurt, and Jason's in the World Cup semi-final. I'll tell you, there are a lot worse England goalkeepers than Jason Steele rocking up. I can tell you that much for sure.
Well, we've had a series of them throughout the years, I think. I do. Going back to Danny Welbeck briefly, though, or just in general, England, and we will get onto Brighton. Obviously, there's a reason we're talking about this. I don't think they have to submit the final World Cup squads until the end of May.
Correct. Yep.
I would be quite shocked if Danny Welbeck isn't actually a part of that. Providing he doesn't get injured and things continue in the way they're going. I mean, I'm just looking at the players that you have that can play in that role, and you've really got Harry Kane, who is obviously playing just unbelievable football as well.
And let's be honest, if he goes down, that we're done anyway, right? Like this England team doesn't win a trophy in any of the big competitions at present if Harry Kane isn't starting striker.
Well, you have to assume that Thomas Tuchel also is not going to play Harry Kane like Gareth Southgate played Harry Kane, right? Whereas, like, how can we possibly get the worst out of Harry Kane? And who else have we got? You've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Dominic Solanke, who are currently called up, right?
Well, it seems that that's a three-way battle, right? It seems quite clear that that seems to be the three-way battle for backup is Calvert-Lewin, Danny Welbeck, and Dominic Solanke, because that seems like Tuchel has mentioned Welbeck more than once. So to me, it's not even like a slating of either of those two players, but it is quite shocking to me that he has decided to go with 3 goals this season, Dominic Solanke and Calvert-Lewin, who they are not players that have that international experience, that experience in general, the role of playing almost like that backup striker in the way that you've talked about Steele doing, right? And that kind of third choice quarterback level of like just be there and be ready to fill in on like an absolute emergency basis, because you would assume that Kane will play every game, right? But if you've got Panama, right, and you've got to see you've already qualified and you've already topped the group, I don't know about you, but I'd rather, obviously it's biased, definitely, but like I would rather be starting Welbeck in those games than the other two, because he carries an air of been there, done that in almost every stage of football, including the international stage, right? Like he's had plenty of call-ups to England before. It's not like he's like never played for England, right? 42 caps. It's not like he's not done it.
Well, precisely. And I think the other thing is you have to think about the context of where these players are at and what they're doing on a week in, week out basis. The other two players are playing for relegation sides. Mate, that's just the fact. England aren't going to be playing like a side battling for relegation at the World Cup. They have to play like a favourite. So part of me is like, well, is Thomas Tuchel thinking that Solanke and Calvert-Lewin's current Premier League experiences aren't representative of where you get the best out of them? And if you put them in a side that is on the front foot and they have the onus, then they're going to be showing a completely different side of them. And that's a bit of a leap, because it's not really like Calvert-Lewin's ever really been in that position massively.
Never.
Neither is Solanke. Sipper brings up Ollie Watkins, and he's not been at it this year, is he really? At least from what I can remember. I mean, I think, you know what I'm sort of surprised about? If you're bringing in someone like Dominic Solanke, like, bring in Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
Because I know the Saudi Pro League's absolute cack, but he scored 25 and 25. And there's plenty of top players that go to the Saudi Pro League, by the way, like, and they just get lazy and they just can't be bothered.
They stink it out.
Ivan Toney is not doing that. So if you ask me, like, we do have, I take Harry Kane, Ivan Toney, and Danny Welbeck personally, but that's why I'm not paid to manage England.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. All of those names sound preferable to what we've got. Obviously, the bias is there with Welbs, but I think Chris in the chat talks about it as well, and it's something that I felt was the obvious reason why I thought Welbs was a lock, is that stylistically, Welbs is by far and away playing the most similarly to Kane and has done for 2 years now in the role he's been asked to do, and has that experience of doing that anyway. So it just, I don't know. Yeah, it's a bizarre one to me, and we'll just have to see. I really hope he gets what he deserves come May. I think it would be, barring an injury, I think even at this point, if he doesn't score again for the next 7 games, I think it would be a travesty to not have him called up. I think it's just dog if he doesn't. Let's talk Liverpool as well, though. Let's do it, because this was a big one, right? And it marked Liverpool's 10th Premier League defeat of the season. That's the first time they've lost that many in a single campaign for 10 years, since obviously the Leicester title winning season, which was pretty crazy as well. what did you make of this starting 11? Unchanged again. Minte still in the lineup. Mitoma on the bench, but back. I think we also had who else came back onto the bench? Baleba was back as well. That was the other one I was trying to think of.
And Costulas, because he was dropped.
Yeah. Exactly. So all three of those back on the bench. Ayari as well seems to be pretty much back up to full fitness. It's just obviously a current form thing, understandable at this point with the run we're on. And the Liverpool side, the notable absence of Mo Salah, given that unbelievable performance he put in against Galatasaray midweek as well. And essentially almost a total lack of width whatsoever in that Liverpool side. They had
zero.
I mean, yeah, none. They were playing with a midfield and striking group of Wirtz, Gravenberch, Sosblai, McAllister, Ekatike, and Gakpo. Not a winger to be seen. What were you thinking coming into this? Obviously, we've been on a pretty good run. Beat Sunderland away. Obviously, we'd lost to Arsenal, but that, in hindsight, maybe should never have ended in a defeat, right? After the
well, I guess we're going to have to talk about that as well, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, you can start there. Given what you were seeing, what you thought, how did you feel about that lineup, and what were your thoughts going into this one with the almost bizarre lineup that they put out as well?
Well, Liverpool were and we don't need to try and give them any credit for, it's a shame they've got so many injuries, but they obviously don't have Alisson. Salah was out. Isak is out. And this is a curious team that they're running. I can only expect that Slot thought they were going to be able to have maybe a bit more of the ball, and Frimpong and Kirkes would get really high up. And I think you obviously saw that with the Kirkes goal. Like, the guy's up the other end of the pitch, and that's the only reason he got that opportunity. But of course, that then left them in a really questionable situation when they didn't have the ball and those players potentially were caught out of possession. For us, the only surprise that I had, because I think I want to continue seeing Minte on the left, and that hasn't changed after the game either. I want to keep seeing that over and over again. By the way, can I just pause for 2 seconds? Why can we not see Minte play on the left and Mitoma play on the right? Why can't we see that? Are we not allowed?
I don't know. I would love to see that. Yeah, I don't know, because the danger that Minte poses as a left footer crossing with his left foot from the left.
Well, he won us the game with that cross.
He did, yeah, he did, and he won us the game last week too.
So it's like, do you really want to give that up? And obviously, the thing is, though, right, when Mitoma came on, I'm getting way out of sync here now, but 76 minutes in, he then added something obviously completely different and just immediately, like,
superb, was he?
Walked around 3 defenders and, could have created something, even scored at one point. So you have to have both of them on the pitch for me when they're fit. So, and it would be a shame to see Minte go back to the right based on what we've seen from the left. So that's a problem that Herzl is going to have to figure out, based on the fact that he seems to love playing players out of position and not in their natural positions. Who knows what he's going to end up coming up with. I think, to go back to the actual lineup piece, we've resigned ourselves to Matt Sweeper at right back at this particular point. He wasn't even that bad yesterday, so that's fine. The problem for me, though, is Jack Hinshelwood. And we said this last week. I don't want to see him in the 10. I don't mind seeing him a little bit deeper, but you don't really want to upset the Milner Gross thing at the moment because it's working nicely. But I certainly, when I looked at the players that we had on the bench, and I think this is probably the strongest subs bench we've had in a while. Like Baleba, Mitoma, Ruta, Ayari, Veltman, England international Jason Steele, Boscagli, De Kuyper, and Costulas. That's a hell of a bench. It's objectively superior to the Liverpool bench of Curtis Jones. I can't even know. What was his name? Rio. He came on. He was pretty good, that youngster. Rio Nugmoa. Andrew Robertson. Chiesa, Freddie Woodman, Joe Gomez, future Brighton star, Calvin Ramsey, Trey Nyoni, and Kieran Morrison. That's rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. We had a far better bench of players. But that's a long-winded way of me saying, why are you playing Hinshelwood in the 10?
Got an assist yesterday.
He got an assist, he did. And he still also got in about, what, 2, 3 different positions at one point and just wet the bed before he tried to shoot on goal. I feel like if we had someone that could shoot in the 10, we won that game 3-1 at least. At least. So that was my only concern when looking at that squad.
If you want to keep Hertzler happy, but also give us what we want, surely you drop Jack, put Gomez there, and then give us the Minte-Mitoma duo. How would you feel about that?
Yeah, yes. But also, you got to flip a
Gomez
coin
can shoot.
He can, but also he can't. It depends on the day.
That is almost every Brighton player at the minute.
True. True. Apart from Danny.
That is true.
That is every Brighton player, yeah. But yeah, I think that is what I would like to see. And I think before you could be screaming out for Ruta, and we saw Ruta come on. And I'm pretty sure I disagreed with almost every decision that he made when he had the ball, which after I screamed for him to come on, after seeing what he did, I was like, actually, hold on. No, never mind. It's fine.
Needs a run of games, it feels like. Needs to be the one that I think it's going to be pre-season for him, isn't it?
Sadly. I mean, I think we'll need him to find some form before the end of the season, just from a rotational standpoint. But yeah, let's see what we do next game out. What did you think of the team? Were there any big surprises for you?
No. Honestly, no. Hertzler has shown to me that he's absolutely in the camp of it doesn't matter how young he is, right? And how progressive he may be on the training pitch. We don't know what he's doing on there, but he's very much in the camp of, if we are winning games, that 11 continues to stay on the pitch as long as possible, fitness-wise. I think Dignity mentioned it in the chat as well. Who would have thought playing a settled, unchanged side can get consistent results? So it didn't shock me whatsoever. What did shock me was how bad that Liverpool front group looked before they kicked the ball. I didn't understand that at all. And obviously, of note, the kickoff was 15 minutes late due to a road traffic accident before the game even started. But I think it was the 8th minute of the football game. Any hope, it felt like, Liverpool had of really cutting us apart with their front line was in ruins, because Hugo Ekitike, who I am a big fan of, despite some of his memeable moments, I think he's an incredibly talented footballer. And he was the one I was definitely worried about in that front group. Goes down with a dead leg. And I suppose that is the problem when you are built like a wacky wave and inflatable unplayable tube man, because when you run into Milner at 40, who just seems to be a solid block of muscle and bone, he's dead-legged and can't continue. And of course, what comes next is the obvious substitution. Curtis Jones comes on, leaving Cody Gakpo to lead the line. At that point, I felt quite significantly more confident than I did for quite a while. It was truly like a set of dominoes that kind of fell as the game went on, with some of the things that went down. And that one was probably the biggest one for me.
Well, I mean, you had, before the game, Ekitike had 11 goals and Danny Welbeck was on 10 for the season in the Premier League. And this game obviously is now turned on its head. Danny Welbeck has 12 goals, Ekitike has 11. So it's quite funny whether James Milner, secret agent James Milner, it's like, all right, we'll take the main threat out in a really subtle challenge that looked like completely nothing. And I think even I saw Arnie Slot even motioning for Ekitike to like get up.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think he's gone, mate. Because he tried to play on, didn't he? And then he just went back down, lame. And that was that. I think I agree with you. There was always, though, the chance that, I think I said this last time around, I know I did, that we give them enough of the ball at a certain point in the second half and they'll find something. It will be Gakpo from the edge of the box with his right foot, just smashing one in, or some stupid chance they've got where they run it down the sideline and the ball goes into the box and they score. And I think that's actually part of the reason why it's funny, right? We outplayed Liverpool. There's no doubt about that. Statistics, visual test, all of it. We outplayed Liverpool. I was actually a little disappointed, which is a shocking thing to say given all of that. I think we should have absolutely killed the game off. I think it should have been 3-1. Early on in the second half, it should have been 3-1 and we could have all relaxed. Instead, I still had that tenseness for the last 20 minutes, knowing that they're still able to do something to you. They're still able to just smash one in the net. And I think if we drew that game, I think we'd all be massively disappointed. Massively.
Gutted. I'd have been gutted if we'd have drew that game, especially because you say it could have been 3-1. They shouldn't have had the one, right? Like, we'll get to that here in a minute, but let's talk through the first goal before we get to there. But they shouldn't have even had one. Like, there is never more of an occasion if we truly gifted them a goal.
I think you need to drop Dunk against Liverpool.
Agreed. Literally since he was like a kid and we drew them in the cup, he's been
ridiculously can't do it.
Bad against them. I don't understand it either. But I mean, let's talk about the goal itself. And Minte on the left started off with, right? He comes open on the left, ball finds him, big ball over, like all the way over. And I thought it might end up going out of play, but nope. Diego Gomez is there, back post, heads the ball across. Konate, massive lad, weak as you can ever see a centre back be. Just totally out jumped, out maneuvered, out thought by Danny Welbeck at the now back post again for the header into the back of the net. And 14 minutes on the clock. They've just lost Hugo Ekitike, and they're 1-0 down away from home with a very tired front group that really have little going on up there. Pretty good start for us, wouldn't you say? Especially when those first 15 minutes before the goal, it was not exactly all Albion, was it? 66% possession for Liverpool and two shots from them with literally nothing on offer from us. It was our first shot and really our first meaningful bit, like 45 seconds of possession all game.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is I don't know how thought out this is versus it's just a byproduct of him having to move players around through injuries that occurred. But how did we score both the goals? It was a ball in. It was a cross.
Yeah,
from a distance. We didn't used to do that ever. If it was a few months ago, even you have Minte out on the left hand side. The ball then will come back. It will go to the overlapping fullback. It will be cut inside, and we'll pass the ball around a little bit more and try and find space centrally. We're crossing the ball in now and creating chances. How long have we been asking to do that for? And for some reason, every manager that's managed Brighton has basically said, we're not going to cross the ball in. And it's working. And we're scoring. And again, you've got a left footer playing left wing. And it works. So I hope that continues. And I hope that we don't immediately plug Mitoma back in on the left-hand side and revert back to what we did before. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the goal itself, Minte yesterday was just astounding. I think it was quite funny in general how just absolutely rattled Frimpong was throughout the entirety of the game. He couldn't deal with him. And then I think he got a yellow card at one point and was taken off basically like 2 minutes after. Was it definitely, I'm looking back here, hold on. Was it definitely even Minte that put the ball in? It might have even been Kadioglu that threw that ball in the back post.
Yeah.
I think it was, which is, completely destroyed any argument they had because he put it in with his right foot. But he's obviously continues to be great at putting the ball where he wants it to be. Wonderful header across. Danny Welbeck, right guy, right place. And as you say, Konate, I think it was emblematic of Liverpool as a whole with Konate being absolutely pathetic because this isn't a team that's just suffering from injuries. This is a team that's sort of given up, it feels like. And I know we can talk about Galatasaray or whatever. there's none of their players were playing particularly out of their skin. You had that moment from Kirkez, obviously, which was well done by him. For the most part, though, it was no, I deem it was Gomez gave the header for this one, right? I think that's what you said, Josh, right? Gomez assisted, and the next one was Hinchelwood that did the assist. But I think it was through Kadioglu ball over to Gomez's head. But outside of that, I think the Liverpool team just looked like they couldn't be bothered half the time. I think we talked about Matoma coming on. Matoma's amazing, and his touch and his control is incredible. And we saw that when we were blocked into the corner at one point, and what he was able to do with the ball was just remarkable. But when he weaved through 3 Liverpool players first coming on, they were stood there like statues. They did not move at all. Like, it was really damning indictment of Arne Slot. I think that they've given up.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that, I think, at the end, because we've got some big boy managers in a little bit of trouble coming to the end of this season. Anyhow, I'm looking at you as well.
Yeah, we're recording just after Sunderland beat Newcastle, which was very funny.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk a little bit about that Minte-Frimpong battle, because initially the battle did not go in Minte's favour, did it? He was almost quite lucky to be on the pitch at halftime. Definitely a yellow card for the foul, and then went down easy twice. A different ref could have been an absolute dick about that and booked him for the second one if he thought it was simulation, and numerous ones of them. Had a couple of kind of extra little bit of challenges that were given as fouls. There was a few times there where I was a little bit worried about Yankuba Minte, and that he may give something away and get himself sent off. I think he committed how many fouls did he commit yesterday?
Well, there was just a lot of yellow cards in this game.
There was a lot of them. Obviously, it all works out in the end for us. And I thought he played with excellent restraint come 45 minutes onwards, right? He played really well and didn't go in to any challenges before. But initially, Frimpong and Minte said it was strange for him playing against someone who was really fast, because he's really fast. And it was eloquently put by a footballer. But he was just saying it was a great battle because they're both so quick, and like it was unusual for him to have to deal with a fullback like that fast, and it was fun. Not sure if it felt it was so fun if we'd have lost, but seeing those two in a foot race was a bit mental, was it? Like the speed those two are putting on. You got to imagine Milner watching it from the middle of the park going like,
yeah, I'm good on
not
that one.
Me.
I think with the thing that in Minte's favor is that Frimpong can't tackle. So
not at all. No.
It's basically at this point it's just a series of sprints between two players, and if Minte loses control, then Frimpong gets the ball. And there's not really any other way that Frimpong actually gets it. And that obviously we talked about before, the trouble is that Frimpong just wants to drive forward and push up. And it's hard for him to do that when he doesn't have cover properly from a player in front of him. You get a little bit of that with Soboslai because he's been forced to play right back points, but he still doesn't really want to be there. And you did actually see quite a lot of times where Minte couldn't necessarily, he ran out of room to get around Frimpong, but he just passed back to Kadioglu. And Kadioglu you don't have to ask Kadioglu twice to just throw the ball in the box. He does it constantly. So
and it's always good, isn't it?
It's always, he wasn't even that good yesterday, Kadioglu, and he was still good.
I can't recall a single time where, because you watch it every day that you watch a Premier League football game, let alone lower divisions, right? A fullback gets it in that position, and at least once a game they're putting it out for a goal kick. Yeah. I've never seen it. I've never seen him do it. Never seen him do it once. It's just unbelievable, the consistency with which that he's getting it in the box. Whether it comes to nothing or not doesn't matter. Like, you've got to get it in there to start a problem, right?
Well, look at this. If you look at the actual data behind it, joint top crosser, weirdly, was actually Pascal Gross with Yankuba Minte. They both had 5 crosses. Second, Ferdi Kadioglu with 3. We put so much of that onus down the left-hand side versus the right. Diego Gomez had 1 cross, and Mats Wiefer had 1. So a combination of eight crosses versus 2, left side versus right side. So we continue, no matter what happens and whoever plays there, we play down the left-hand side. Whether we like it or not, that's where play goes. But yeah, Kadioglu and Minte are a horrible proposition for a defender, especially if it's Jeremy Frimpong basically just on an island on his own, having to deal with both of them. So yeah, more for them.
And then it all just went to pot a little bit with the goal that we decided to gift them. As you said, Dunk against Liverpool is not a great outing usually. And he really did truly gift them the equaliser by blindly heading a long ball back towards Bart. No one really is at fault for this other than Dunkey. Sadly, Bart couldn't do anything about it. And the other defenders were so flat-footed because it was just such an unexpected turn of events. There's nothing more that you can do. Kirkes, as you say, was, in our box from our goal kick, from our, unbelievable forward play from him. Really intelligent as well, right? I like Kirkes no matter how much shit he's been given by Liverpool fans this season. I really liked him at Bournemouth. I think he's a good footballer. And then he decides to do that and just scores the excellent finish as well, wasn't it? At that point, you're like, oh boy, not again. We're not going to do something stupid now, are we?
Well, we already did.
Well, we did.
Yeah, we're not going to double down on that, are we? Yeah, and I can't even remember. It's too many Liverpool games at the moment, but I just remember, he scored an own goal. We got beaten 6-1. This was back at the FA Cup. My word, how long ago was this? Years and years ago.
A very long time ago.
And then it might even be 2012. Jesus. And then did he score? I'm trying to think. Did he ever do 2?
It was 19th of February 2012.
That's scary, isn't it? Yeah. Because that's over 14 years ago. That's horrible. Yeah. It's horrible.
Liam Bridcut also got an own goal on that day.
Wow. The fact that Dunk is still playing is crazy, isn't it, by the way?
Yep. Martin Skirtle, Liam Bridcut, own goal, Andy Carroll, Steven Gerrard, Lewis Dunk, own goal, Luis Suarez were the goal scorers for Liverpool that day. And my boy Kazenga Lawalawa got the one.
Kazenga. There's a couple of players there that are still, you can say playing, and you put it in big asterisks next to that because Luis Suarez, I think has he finally given up now for Miami? Or is he still?
I don't know if he's still playing or
not. He can't run. He can't run. Andy Carroll's playing in third tier France, or where did he go to now? Because he was somewhere. He's just playing for vibes now. But Dunk is actually playing, for the most part, top-level football still, which is just remarkable. This was not the best example of Dunk's defending. And he, not only for this goal, but he also did it partway through the match as well, where he tried to chest it back. And it was, Verbruggen had to really get down to his left and palm it away for a corner, I think.
Yeah, he did. He almost scored an own goal. Martin Skirtle is playing in the 8th tier for FK Hajkala Rastochno.
There's no way Martin Skirtle's still playing football.
He is.
Hold on. It says Slovak former professional footballer.
Yeah, he's playing.
Hold on.
He's playing for an 8th tier team in Western Slovakia.
He currently serves as sporting director of Slovak club Spartak Trnava. I think maybe he just retired. Maybe he
did.
I think he might have just hung up his boots. We might have just witnessed it. Let me see. Hold on.
The hero.
In 22, he left Trnava to fulfill his promise and finish his career at his childhood club, Hajkala Rastochno, in the Prevca region.
Told you.
And then he became a sports director in 2025 for that same club. Then he became interim manager. What a crazy! You can go down these rabbit holes too easily with this stuff, can't you?
You can't. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, that's a 3-hour jaunt there, and suddenly you're looking up like Hernan Crespo and stuff. Yeah, it goes. Yeah. Anyway,
obviously at 1-1, bit more worried, right, of this Liverpool side finding some ascendancy, but not to be, because from then until half time, we took over again. We looked by far the more dangerous team.
Correct. They
We
stopped.
looked like scoring again. Liverpool did not. I think McAllister had a half decent chance, and I think that was about it in the rest of for the rest of that half. And at that point, it ended up going into half time, and I'm like, bugger, like I hope not scoring at the end of that half doesn't come back to bite us, because we had ended so well. And coming on in the second half, Yankuba Minte, for me, still being out there worried me. Just because, like I said, I really worried he was going to be prone for that second yellow. It really made me a little bit worried about him. But it felt like the continued dominance kind of just carried on after the half. 50-50 possession, but all the shots were ours. We were going forward and causing problems for them still. And obviously, we get the second goal shortly afterwards, I think on 56 minutes, with another one from Welbs that he was sure was offside as well. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well, because I thought he was. But this one was a Minte cross. Really good ball in. Jack Hinchelwood touches it back to Welbeck at the back post, who just taps it into an empty net, essentially, right in front of the North Stand. It's 2-1, almost 10 minutes after the restart. Welbs does not celebrate. He you can see him, you can lip read him just going like, wait, don't even celebrate yet. Like, wait, like I think it's offside. The check is done. The semi-assisted is complete, and he is shown to be behind the ball with the exception of his forearm, which is a bit nuts, given how we've been done in by that just a couple of weeks ago, right? Like where the sleeve was offside or something like that. Goal given, 2-1. And at that point, as you say, it felt like a 2-2 draw was going to feel very disappointing indeed, if it ended that way or worse, because it felt like at that point we could even be 3-0 up.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot to talk about there. We had some semi chances at the end of the first half, and unfortunately, they fell to a collection of players such as Jack Hinchelwood and Matt Sweefer for a sort of long distance shot. There was another really good bit of play though, where I think it was Kadioglu was running down the left hand side. Well, sort of touched it off to Minte, and Minte was bombing forward, put in another cross that just went over Danny Welbeck's head and then sort of wandered out to the other side of the pitch. But we were, as you say, we were continuing this assault. The ball in from Minte was a stunning ball. I think if I'm Liverpool and I watch that back, I'm actually quite confident it's offside.
So am I. I thought it was off. I totally agreed with him. In his reaction, I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right, Danny. I wouldn't celebrate too quickly either."
And it was what, just a toe and just ahead of a knee. It was really tight, but also, I don't know. This maybe is just a stupid comment. For me, when you're two players beyond the defenders anyway, I don't even think they should be offside at that point. It doesn't matter. Like, why can't you just pass to the other guy anyway? There's no defenders involved. Just who cares? It's just a keeper. But anyhow, it counted, and that's great for us. I was quite surprised by the decision in general. Sometimes these things go your way. I will say, while we're on officiating, just for very brief moments, the referee was a clown. I thought he was rubbish. Darren England, typically on average, his average number of yellow cards in a game is 3.7. He handed out 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 yellow cards, which includes one to Fabian Hertzler. 11 yellow cards in this particular game. And I thought he got so many little decisions wrong. And I would also go as far to say at certain points in the game, Konate especially was quite lucky to get away with a few things when he was dragging Minte down.
Unbelievable. How, like, yeah.
I was surprised there, and they cowered it out on it. There was one that was really egregious, and it went to VAR, and they were like, "Yeah, we won't do anything about that." I do feel like there is this thing. Now, there's numerous problems with VAR, but there's this weird thing that they do when a decision happens, the referee waves it away, and play continues. They never go back, even if it does look really egregious. They hate going back and stopping the game once it's already restarted. And I think it's one of those ones where the referee never even like pauses to give it a think. You ain't getting it, which is just really frustrating for me. I tell you the most frustrating example though from Darren England yesterday. I can't remember when it was, so this is horrible.
Are you going to go back to the Konate booking?
I'm not actually. I'm going back to a point where we had the ball in the middle. Maybe it was. I can't even remember at this point. And we had Minte was on his own on the left-hand side. We got the ball. It is the Konate booking.
Yeah. Bang on half time as well, wasn't it? It was right before the whistle or right after. Yeah, it was. Yeah, go on.
I trust you, but I remember the ball being basically in the center circle. There's the foul happens. But we get away with that. We keep moving forward with the ball. Minte is completely on his own left-hand side. It's just a simple pass.
3 on 2 at that point.
3 on 2, and he's ahead. He'd be ahead. He sprints forward. He's got no one marking him. And he's basically got a one-on-one on goal. Darren England stops it.
And Gross has the ball as well, right? So as a Brighton fan, you're confident that pass is being made too. You're confident Minte is being found with that ball. It's not like you've got whoever, right? Like it's not like you've got someone who is not known for their passing ability, right? Like it's
Diego Gomez.
Yes. Like, yeah, who could easily overhit one, right? Like we've seen it 100 times already. Like you've got a player that is one of the greatest passers to ever exist in a Brighton shirt ever in history. In the middle of the park with time, 3 on 2, with a guy running 108 mile an hour on the left-hand side, wide open. Yeah, it genuinely is one of the most disgraceful no advantage calls in my life. And he gestured to, I can't remember who it was, but it made it more angering when he gestured to one of the Brighton players, essentially saying, like, I needed to book him.
No, you don't. Wait.
Yeah, you can book him after you are aware you can go and who teaches you? How do we know this and you don't? Like, you didn't have to stop that. Like, you didn't have to stop him because you had to book it. Unless it's a red card, then you do have to stop it. But if you give me a yellow, like, we know the rules that you don't have to stop that. So I don't think the players are going to accept that as a reason to stop the play.
Look, I think it's one of those ones where Darren England is just prepping us to be disappointed by the idea of England. And he's saving us from ourselves in the summer, where invariably another England will make a horrendous decision at an important moment that will make us tear our hair out. So that's the only thing I could potentially think of. But yeah, awful, horrendous. But thankfully, we don't get to dwell on these things because it didn't have an impact on the actual outcome of the game. We still walk away with 3 points deservedly. And despite his best attempts, Darren England can't sabotage us.
And like, I'm not even sure it's a sabotage at this point. There was something that happened a week ago. I feel like I messaged you guys that like it feels like the refs actually get a little bit agitated when they're not involved at times. And it wasn't even our game I was watching. It was a totally different one. And I was like, there's no way that this is going to go easily because they're going to look to be involved here. It's been a really good game of football. They're not going to like the fact that they've not had any headline here. It truly feels that way at this point, where it's like it's not enough. I think it was Brentford Wolves on Monday, ended 2-2. And although they're both, obviously Wolves are dire and Brentford are in very inconsistent form at the minute, the game was actually brilliant, like just carnage football. And it felt like at one point VAR got involved solely to be like, no, it just wasn't Brentford and Wolves here. We were here too. Don't forget. Like, don't forget, guys. Like, we were here working hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I go back to, I mentioned this before, but 70, pretty much on 72, 73 minutes, Konate is dilly-dallying with it in his box. He receives the ball back and he doesn't realize he's got both Hinshelwood and Welbeck running at him. Welbeck gets the ball off him, runs past him. Konate then just clotheslines him. Because he does, and this is the most stupid thing for me. He doesn't actually have possession because he's on the floor. He's lost possession. Danny Welbeck's the last to touch the ball. Danny Welbeck runs around him. Konate closes him off and forces him onto the floor. And the ref's like, "No, don't worry about that. That's fine." That's absolutely a penalty. Absolutely,
It was a full. I said to you, it looked like a full NFL block, like an NFL blocker, like where you're kind of blocking downfield to stop them making progress. You can't. Yeah, it was. And the VAR went back and checked and cleared it, right? Like, I don't really know how that was cleared.
Well, again, play moved on, so the VAR goes, "Oh, we can just cover that one up. We don't need to worry about that too much." And Chris saying he doesn't think it was a penalty. To me, it absolutely was a decision that. Let me put it this way: if I'm the VAR, I think the ref should look at it. I think the ref should look at it and judge directly again for himself whether that was the right decision. And they hate doing that. They hate letting the ref then take another look because I guess they're concerned about slowing the game down too much, which is understandable. But for me, it's a penalty, second yellow card, and he's gone. But here we are.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it was before that as well. Let's talk about that one. I think it was right after Frimpong is subbed off after he had then ended up losing the battle and war against Minte yesterday. The Diego Gomez free kick,
spicy one.
Hell of an effort, wasn't it? Like, good save as well, to be fair. He kind of read it, right, and you never know whether a keeper is going to. But I thought it was a really good effort from him. I thought he did a really good job. And I mean, that Mamadishvili or whatever his name is a good keeper, right? Like, he's obviously a very talented.
He's an excellent keeper. He should be playing. He should be a number one.
Yeah, and I think they were almost prepping for Alisson not to be here when they signed him.
100%.
And now they're stuck with both. And then I think it was, again, before that even happened, in the 70th minute, Minte broke through one-on-one again, and had a really good opportunity that was saved by the keeper. And then, of course, Mitoma comes on, and we have the Jack Hinchelwood miss of the season that should have sealed it.
Oh, my word.
3-1. Listen, he got the assist, right? He got the assist, and he's gotten quite a few being played in this 10. But if you are going to play a 10, you need to at least be able to make contact with the ball that's tapped back to you from Mitoma in that area of space, right? 72 minutes, I think it was. It's Mitoma beats 3 men in the box, pulls it back, and Jack swings, misses, and it just pops up in between his legs without almost any contact at all. And obviously it just kind of comes to nothing and is cleared in the end. But a huge missed opportunity, and probably the last meaningful opportunity from either side in the game.
Well, this should have been the game completely put to bed. Completely. So Mitoma has come on 76 minutes, and then 40 seconds into the 76, whatever minute it is, 77th minute, he's just running down. He just dances past, who's Liverpool's numbers? Curtis Jones playing right back, presumably at that particular moment. Shocking.
They went through 4 right backs yesterday, by the way. 4 players played right back yesterday. Match of the Day was talking about it. 4 players.
4 of them were in the right back position. I don't know if they played it. 73, Rio, that kid, I don't know, obviously not known for his defending. And then you also had number 8, Dominic Soboslai. All statuettes doing absolutely nothing. I think then another player just dives in to try and cut Mitoma off. So he's essentially beaten 4 players. And then the Liverpool defence have left Jack Hinchelwood standing on his own in the box. Right there. Van Dijk is ball watching, which, good old Van Dijk, gets all the plaudits, but sometimes is an absolutely horrendous defender. And Jack Hinchelwood gets it all wrong. All wrong. This is why you have to have a proper number 10. I'm sorry. No, I know Hinchelwood brings energy. He brings closing down ability. He's got a decent header on him. He provided an assist. You can't take that away from anything. But there is one primary asset you need to have to be a number 10. You've got to be able to hit the ball. And that was shocking. If Liverpool run up the other end of the pitch in the subsequent 15, 20 minutes and score, yeah, we get to pretend this didn't happen. But if that happened,
yeah, I agree.
And by the way, you talked about there not being, the other proper chances. We had a couple of corners. There was a corner that went in the 86th minute. Pascal Gross puts the ball in, and it causes all sorts of problems. I think it's someone had to clear it off the line, and then we had a player just smash it at the goal.
Oh, you're right.
And there was a save.
Yeah.
Curtis Jones cleared it off the line, I think. Which, yeah, and I think there was another bit where like Matoma ran in, Ayari danced around. We had another opportunity as well. We had even more chances in the closing minutes of this game when we were 2-1 up. Let's give credit to Hertzler again.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Previously, we sit back completely here and let Liverpool do whatever they want to us. And now we actually were going out and saying, I'll tell you what, now we can take this game to you. We can actually try and kill this thing off. And I loved seeing that. Absolutely loved seeing it.
And it almost, I mean, the best form of defending is attacking in this case, because it felt a little bit like us at our lowest points this season, where we've got a few injuries, people aren't quite fit, others are not fit, others are playing in different positions they shouldn't be playing in. Arne Slot's answer to try and get a goal back was Andy Robertson and Federico Chiesa, right? Like, they're like when you see that happen, you think, all right, yeah, like let's try and get one. It was Ayari that smashed it in, by the way, that almost had it cleared up. Well, that did have it cleared off.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's Forest have just scored. We're talking live scenes. Forest have just banged one in before half time.
Oh boy.
Spurs are definitely 17th at least. If we can just get a bit of luck here for West Ham. I don't know what the score is at West Ham.
Villa are beating West Ham 1-0 in the Claret and Blue derby.
Damn. All right, never mind. But at least Forest are in.
And Forest won in the Europa, didn't they, or whatever competition they're playing in?
They did. Yeah, they did. And Palace had to rely on extra time against 10 men from Djibouti or somewhere. I don't know.
Well, as it currently stands, at actual time of speaking, so we don't know how these games end up if you're listening on the podcast, West Ham are on 29 points, Spurs are on 30 points, Forest are on 32, and Leeds 33.
Yep.
So questionable, to say the least, to be down in that mosh pit that we were concerned about being involved in.
A month ago, we were dreading it, right?
Hertzler out. Everyone was Hertzler out. Okay. I have to guess that it was at least 80% of the fan base was Hertzler out, at least. And now we are currently 10th. And we are 3 points off of 7th position, which is European football.
8th, I believe, is going to be enough this season.
Well, there's still 3 points off of that. So
as long as the FA Cup is won by someone in the top 7, 8th will be good enough. And the majority of teams left in the FA Cup are in the top 7.
And we have got, who have we got coming up next? We've got Burnley, then Spurs is our next.
Burnley, Spurs next. You simply have to get at least 4 points off of them, really, if you want to really go for it and go for those.
No, we want 6 points off of that crap.
Well, I mean, ideally, right? But like, you've got to be taking points from both games to be able to really go for Europe, given the position we put ourselves in as like a late crusade, as opposed to being in and amongst it from the start. We're kind of making a late run.
Well, this is when you want to come into form. Shades of the New York Giants winning their Super Bowl a number of years ago, when they were just absolutely useless in the regular season, wild carded or whatever their way into the playoffs, and then won the entire thing. Yeah, I do want to go back there before we talk about some of this stuff. Diego Gomez's free kick was, as you say, you talked about this before, wonderful execution. We've now got a few people that can take free kicks. What's gone on there?
Donkey fuming, right? Got to be fuming. He's lost his spot.
He's suddenly like 9th in the free kick taking level. So you got.
He's texting De Zerbi like, "Can you please just tell him how good I was in training? Please, just text Fabian." Like,
Well, who's the best? Is it De Kuiper who we think is the best right now?
I think De Kuiper technically was our free kick specialist when he was playing regularly, yes. And I think his output was like outrageously good in terms of like accurate free kicks. Yeah.
Yeah, De Kuiper. You don't mind having Gross on him. Danny Welbeck, we've shown us spanked.
Wells has banged a few. Yeah.
So we've got a crew now that can do that. I want to go back because it wouldn't be a Together BHA podcast without an Andy Naylor mention. Because you talked about the free kick and Mamadashvili. Andy Naylor yesterday tweeted out, Brighton's goalkeeper trading, recruitment and development is second to none. I agree. Yeah, agreed so far. Sold Sanchez and bought Verbruggen in for a profit. Yeah.
Can you believe we got £25 million for Robert Sanchez? Watching him yesterday.
Very funny.
It still shocks me.
I'll leave out the next line, but he goes on to say the top keeper in the championship in Rushworth. Okay. Yeah. And by the way, linked with Premier League clubs based on his performances at the moment. Finally goes on to say England under 21, also on loan in the second tier, Beadle. Yeah, all these things are true. Just before that, though, I left out the bit where he said the best number 2 in the Premier League on a free, Steele. I'm sorry, but I love Steele sometimes. And the England call-up is wonderful. But come off it, mate. Come off it. Mamadashvili is a regular Georgian international. He's signed by Liverpool to basically be the future number 1. He's an excellent keeper. There's other keepers in the league. Kepa, there's a bunch of them that could vie for that. Jason Steele does a great job for us. I think is an excellent presence in the club. Really wonderful with the ball at his feet. But I think you remember not that long ago, this fan base was having meltdowns on Jason Steele playing football. Meltdowns.
Yep.
Shocking. Anyway, Andy Naylor with another wonderful take. Famous Stoke fan, Andy Naylor.
Yeah. I don't even want to give him any more air than I've given him already, to be honest. It bores me to tears with the word nonsense and bait that he keeps posting. I mean, it was the fact that his slant on the season ticket renewal was silent majority adore Hurtsler because they've renewed their season ticket this season.
Yeah.
I've way sensationalized that just to dig it in more. But like essentially it was the reason that you're renewing your season ticket is because you're Hurtsler in. I've traveled up and down the country to watch us play dire football under many managers. It doesn't really matter who's in charge, right? Like for 99% of people, you support your club. I've never really known anyone other than Robin, maybe, who's a De Zerbi fan before he's a Brighton fan at this point. I'm so sad he isn't on because I would have said it anyway. I said it louder.
Agreed.
But I mean, let's talk slot. Let's talk let's talk managerial merry-go-round here, because for us, like, it's a little bit too much. We're in a weird position here where I don't feel like we can even begin to guess at what happens to Fabian Hurtsler come May, because we have now done the unthinkable and had this comeback. And these next 7 games, I really think are so crucial for him and his future. I don't know what way the wind is going to blow come May.
Well,
but
I pause you? Can I pause you?
Yeah.
I just want to touch on that. And I don't want to curse us, but I'll say this right now on record. I think we get European football.
Well, if we do, he's obviously here next year.
I think we get European football because Burnley, next game, appalling.
Scotty Parker's gone, right? I mean, as we go through these teams you're about to name, let's talk about them. Scotty Parker's defo gone by the end of the season. Yeah, at least at the end.
Yeah, finished. Spurs.
Does he make it out of today if Forest win? No. I think he's gone today.
No. Not if he doesn't make it out of this one. Yeah. Next game. A Chelsea side who have completely gone off the boil.
Will McKenzie, is he in the job at the end of the season? If he loses? If he doesn't if he continues on this trajectory?
I
Doesn't
think
get European football outside of if he gets that conference. Old LinkedIn Liam.
I think you continue with him, don't you? Do you really expect?
No. Take away your common sense and go.
True.
I'm a Chelsea owner now.
Well, then you get rid of him and bring in someone with a bigger name. Then yeah, sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Cool.
We then play Newcastle, who
Eddie Howe
lost their way.
I think he's gone as well.
This might be the end for Eddie Howe, depending on how this season wraps up, because they're 12th at the moment. Now that could change, just given we talked about this sort of mini table that's emerged. But
100%.
So they could feasibly end up 5th, and they could end up 14th.
Yes,
and the same for all of us. But I think the expectation for Newcastle coming into this season is they were demanded at least 6th. So he's got to nail it for the rest of the season, or he's disappointed. Now, my only question mark around Eddie Howe's future tenure, is how much of the Isaac departure is going to be factored into his situation, because it happened late. And you partially wonder whether he can come back and say, I'm sorry, but you took away the main man and you replaced him with a young German guy for a lot of money that really hasn't been able to do it. It sounds like Tonali's going to be gone at the end of the season as well, so they'll continue to suffer. If they can get a bigger name to come in, I think they'll do it now, though. But his defense will be the Isaac thing.
I mean, my retort would be, we signed Voltemada, who is obviously a very talented young lad. And if you weren't getting goals immediately from him, we had an experienced Premier League striker that got 19 in 35 for Brentford last season.
Injured a lot, though, isn't he? Ben Wisser?
He wasn't at the start, and he was awful then as well. So, do you know what I mean, though? The problem is going to be that, even when he's playing now and is back to being fit, he's absolutely terrible. Looks like he's won a competition to play football.
Well,
it's genuinely shocking.
It has been bad. I mean, let's round this out. We then go on to play Wolves at home. Okay.
Yep. I mean, there's no point talking about their tenure, right? Who cares?
We then go on to play Leeds.
Do you think they keep Wagner at the end if they stay up?
If they stay up, yeah. If they go down,
feels like they've been desperate to fire him almost from the summer. Remember, there was even talk of him being fired before they.
Oh, do you mean Farker?
Farker, yes. Sorry,
Wagner, isn't he the magician from Southampton?
He's the.
Who am I thinking of?
He's the guy from Huddersfield that came up. I don't know why I said him.
Who's the waistcoat Southampton manager?
I don't know.
Why am I blanking on
David Wagner is currently in charge.
Hasenhüttl, that's who I'm thinking of.
Oh, Hasenhüttl.
What's Hasenhüttl doing?
Don't know. Wagner has not been in a job since 2024. He was at Norwich last.
He's definitely gonna be out, isn't he?
Yeah.
Hasenhüttl was most recently the manager of Wolfsburg, and he on 17th of March 2024, he was appointed as the new head coach of Wolfsburg. By 20th of April 2024, so a month later, he pulled the club out of the relegation zone of the Bundesliga. On May 4th, 2025, 1 year after a 4-0 defeat to Borussia Dortmund, he was sacked. So what a ride for him.
When we were younger. Remember how good Wolfsburg were?
Back in the day, Wolfsburg,
those green kits. Oh,
they were a force to be reckoned with, weren't they? So we play Leeds, and then we go on to play. Who is it? Man United. Final game
is United away at home. Sorry, yeah.
All right. So let's take all this into account, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a Premier League form table. Let's take a look at this. So we're going to do this from, I don't know. When's a good period of time? From the match day, we're at match day 31 now. So last 5 games form table. Should we do that?
Sure. We got 15 points from possible 21 of these last 8 games this time last year, 7 games. We got 15 out of 21 points, didn't lose a single one.
Guess who's bottom of the form table?
of the last 5 games.
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe I need to extend that a little bit, but that's fine.
Spurs,
Spurs, rock bottom.
Burnley next.
No, because it's then if it's Spurs at the bottom, then Forest, Villa.
Oh yeah, they have fell off.
And you want me to continue from there? Leeds, Burnley, Chelsea, 17th, 16th, and 15th. So we have to play four of my voice works, 4 of the bottom 6
That's how
at the form table. That's I'm stunned. I'm absolutely stunned. I can't even speak.
You're back to being 13.
Yeah, Jesus. So we've got to play these absolutely pathetic teams. And the only team that is higher up in this form table is Manchester United,
who could be well and truly on the beach come
finito
of the season.
Absolutely finito.
Because you don't
want to
know
speculate about their manager.
And you don't want to speculate about where they're going to be in the Premier League altogether, right? Because they are in their own little mini league up there with Villa. I mean, if Villa keep falling off, they'll have secured 3rd by then, and they've got nothing to play for other than being 3rd. And you're going to have a few of those players in that squad going, Gaffer, I ain't playing. Got a World Cup in a month. Are you joking?
Exactly. Don't play me.
I'm not playing at fucking Amex for no reason whatsoever and getting crocked. Milner dead legging me for 8
weeks. Yeah, exactly. Who do you think are the top 3 in the form table for the last 5 games? Who's
right now? Arsenal.
Yeah, so Arsenal. Who's 2 and 3?
Feel like it had to be on. Like they've just been so good. City.
They're 3rd.
Okay. Us, I assume.
Brighton 2nd.
Yeah.
What a turnaround.
Because we've won 4 and 5, haven't we? And only lost the 1.
And maybe this is taken into account.
And that was against Spurs in the form table. Arsenal.
Yeah, maybe this is taken into account the last 6 games. Let's change it to. I think we're a solid. If you just do the last 5 games, we're a solid 2nd to Arsenal. Only 1 point less than them in the last 5 games. And again, the previous, the as you say, 6 games back was when we got scammed by them, and now have an apology saying it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
I
for the second time this season for Arsenal, by the way, they've got 4 points from those 2 games.
It's so ridiculous how it works out like that. But yeah, the overall point I'm making here is we've just got to get some fodder out of the way. We've got to beat these fodder teams, and we've got a lot of an easier run in, and we've found form, and our squad depth is better than it's ever been. I talked about that bench that we played against Liverpool. We have a really good squad right now, barring any unforeseen injury. So do I think we can beat Burnley? 100%. Do I think we can beat Spurs? 100%. Do I think we can beat this idiot Chelsea team? 100%. Newcastle, yes, they just lost to Sunderland. They're rubbish. Can we beat Wolves? Obviously. Can we beat Leeds? Yes. Can we beat Man United on the last day? Yes. We have absolutely the pathway to play European football. Absolutely.
So we now know
we won't make it.
Come to.
Yeah.
When we bottle it. You.
Correct. I'm sorry, but if you break each game, though. Break each game. We beat them all.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. We have a big break now. Typically comes at a terrible time for us given the form table. We have 2 weeks off now. No football until April the 11th for Brighton.
Yeah.
Big, long gap. We're talking about squad depth. Anyone who was injured that isn't kind of CMAS is going to be back, right? By that point.
Webster's going to be out soon. I think it's only CMAS and Webster that are out.
Yeah. But 2 notables just before we drop. Fabian Hertzler, not available to be manager for 2 games in a row. Now he's going to have to watch both Spurs and Burnley from the stands after his 10th yellow card.
It doesn't matter. If you're going to miss 2 games as manager, you don't need a manager for those.
And Lewis Dunk also drops off. So he has got himself a very pleasant holiday indeed. Yesterday was his last game. He will not have to play one now until May, possibly, because obviously the Chelsea game will almost definitely be rearranged, given that the only way we play Chelsea that weekend of the end of April is if they lose to Port Vale at home.
I could see it.
That might get him fired that day.
That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
I genuinely think it probably would, actually. Lose at Stamford Bridge to Port Vale, I think Rosini's gone. I don't think they could stand it. I think he would be gone. I really do.
Based on the public reaction to Rafinha and how he's been received in general, I think they'll be well aware of that. And as you say, if the results aren't, you can get away with anything if you win. You can get away with anything.
Very true. Yeah. May 2nd is probably Dunk's next game. Yeah. May the 2nd is probably Dunk's next game. So he's got 6-week break. He knew what he was doing when he got that stupid booking at the end.
Completely pre-planned,
he was like,
predetermined.
Hey, got a holiday booked already and everything just by happenstance.
Well, so then you've got the Boscagli and Jean-Paul Van Hecke show. The only real concern you have there, though, is if one of them gets injured, which is very unlikely, just given it's 2 games. But if they do, you're playing Veltman centre back.
You're playing Igor. Easy.
I forgot Igor existed.
I'm not being sarcastic there. You've got to play him, right?
I forgot he existed. Is that bad?
No, because he's not been in a squad.
Who didn't make so? Who did he drop for this last game? Matt O'Reilly not in the squad. Solly March not in the squad. And Igor, so he couldn't get those. He couldn't fit those 3 players in.
Yeah.
I genuinely feel like he probably plays Veltman centre back rather than bringing Igor, but I don't know.
He might do that. He might do that.
By the way, can I just say one thing?
Play Wafer, bloody centre back at that point.
Can we play Matt O'Reilly in the 10 just one time, just to see what happens instead of Hinchelwood? Start him.
Why not? If the season's over, right? If we bottle it in a few games, right, and then just like, yeah, stick him on. Give old Matt a go.
Give him a go. Give him a try. We've messed him around a bit. Give him a go. I'd like to see that. Chris is saying we did in August. Yeah, but what about
how that turned out?
What about if we did it now? That's the difference.
Would it be any different? No. But
we're in a very different state as a club than we were.
He was dog at Marseille as well, though.
But every week, De Zerbi was talking about quitting. So that's not great, is it?
He's just rubbish, isn't he? I'm sorry. He's just crap.
Anyhow, look, we're making Europe.
Back to Celtic.
Nice little break.
Adam Virgo.
True. All right.
Yes.
Let's call it there.
Yeah, we'll be back after Burnley. So probably the 12th. I'll be going to that one. So nice trip up to Burnley. Lovely place to go for a weekend.
Is there such a thing? Yeah.
So enjoy the time off, everyone. I know we've got FA Cup football next week, I think. And obviously the Carabao Cup in like an hour, which should be interesting. But we'll be back, and have a wonderful couple of weeks. Enjoy them. The weather has turned here in the UK. It's been absolutely lovely for the last week. So long may that continue.
Enjoy.